Good morning. My name is Dan Stancil, and as head of the Department of Electrical Engineering, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Spring 2015 Electrical and Computer Engineering Graduation Ceremony. To begin our ceremony, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our graduation speaker for today, Dr. Laura Bottomley. Dr. Laura Bottomley is the director of the Women in Engineering program in the Engineering Place in the College of Engineering at NC State. Laura graduated from Virginia Tech with a BS and MS in electrical engineering. She spent 2 years at AT&T Bell Laboratories before returning to NC State for her PhD in electrical and computer engineering. At Duke University, she began her work in K-12 outreach while teaching undergraduate and graduate electrical engineering courses. She has consulted with Lockheed Martin, IBM, MCNC, and others before eventually originating her current position in the Office of Academic Affairs in the College of Engineering at NC State in 1997. Founder of the K-12 outreach program in 1999, Laura is responsible for the oversight of the Engineering Place and its strategic operations. She is also a frequent creative contributor to program content. She holds primary responsibility for funding, operation, and personnel. She also directs the Women in Engineering program, advises students, and teaches the E101 Introduction to Engineering and Problem Solving class to first-year students. She holds a joint appointment in the College of Education and teaches ELM 340, a required class in engineering for elementary education majors. In addition, Laura is a teaching associate professor in electrical and computer engineering. Laura was inducted into the YWCA Academy of Women for her work in empowering women within the engineering community. In 2000, she was among NC State College's College of Engineering representatives as it received a Presidential Award for Excellence in Science, Mathematics, and Engineering Mentoring. In 2009, she received an individual Presidential Award for Excellence in Science, Mathematics, and Engineering Mentoring for her mentoring and outreach efforts with the Women in Engineering and K-12 outreach programs. She was named one of NC State's 125 Transformational Women in 2013 and to the American Society for Engineering Education Academy of Fellows in 2014. Also in 2014, she began work on a National Academy of Engineering committee charged with guiding the implementation of K-12 engineering. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Laura Bottomley.
Good morning. All right, my charge is to keep you awake. I think that's what I was told. Some of you may know that my daughter graduated from Florida State last weekend. So I just did this a week ago. Well, I didn't do this. So I asked Katie for her advice. I said, what should I say? And her advice was, don't be boring. I said, all right, good. So I thought about getting a t-shirt cannon. Then I thought, no, I'm supposed to give you some serious advice, or at least say something inspirational, or preferably both. No promises. But there are a few guiding principles that I have adopted for my engineering career, and I want to share those with you. Bruce Lee said, a goal is not always something to be reached. Sometimes it serves as something to aim at. None of us knows what life has in store, but engineering has prepared you. Do what you love. Seek to make a difference, but remember that the path isn't straight. It wasn't meant to be. And those who succeed are the ones that respond to that. As an example, do you know what made me decide to be an engineer? I wanted to be an astronaut. As a child of the 70s, that was the absolute epitome of cool as far as I was concerned. Science, adventure, learning new stuff, boldly going where no one, oh, sorry. And yeah, I did watch the original Star Trek. Some of you don't even know what that is. So when I was in your position, I was interviewing, and I got an interview with NASA. And I turned it down. Why? Life. I had met this guy and decided to get married, and he did not want to live in Houston. Fine. At that time, the economy was a little bit different than it is right now. I had 9 offers to choose from. I wish that you had the same situation. So I accepted the opportunity at AT&T Bell Labs, and that turned out to be an absolutely perfect decision. That was a place that doesn't even exist anymore. It was an absolutely wonderful place to work. In fact, they had a supply room. Those of you that have worked with me at the engineering place know what that means to me, right? Tyler? Yeah, I'm just saying. I could get anything that I wanted, anytime. We had this new thing that was being installed at Bell Labs. It was this concept. You could take your computer and you could plug it into the wall. And, well, not for power, but for this thing that would let you do stuff like this new invention called email. And I should stop at this point and point out to you that I'm not that old. Okay, I just want to be clear about that. They had access to all the AT&T Bell Labs technical reports. You could search online. It was just this crazy new thing, right? But I was told that we couldn't use it yet because it required the creation of a custom junction. You had to get a connector, and one of the guys in my department was going to order these custom connectors for everybody. So I went to Larry and I said, I want to see what this custom connector is. So he handed it to me, and basically it was, for those of you that know this, is an RS-232 connector, and you just had to switch like 3 of the wires. So I went to the supply room. I got an RS-232 connector, some wires, and a soldering iron. And by afternoon, guess what? I was sending my first email. Didn't seem like a big deal to me. So then my boss comes in and says, what the heck are you doing? And I said, well, I'm sending my email. What are you doing? And he said, oh my gosh, how'd you do this? So I told him. He said, can you make me one? I said, sure, no problem. Hour later, no lie, message from his boss, make him one. The next day, a message from his boss, make him one. My 4th level manager knew my name within a few weeks of working at AT&T Bell Labs. Why? Because I like to go to the supply room and I learned to solder. You never know, right? Guaranteed opportunity does not mean guaranteed success. It's important to remember that. Life is a team sport. So is engineering. Don't forget that. When I was a little bit younger than you were, I had an internship at Texas Instruments. And as these things go, I finished my work pretty quickly. So I went walking around to the cubicles next to me, and I found a guy and said, hey, what are you doing? Do you need some help? He said, yes, actually, I have more than I can do. What do you know about logic design? I said, I know a few things about logic design. Ironically, I taught that this semester. So he said, could you help me with this board layout? I said, sure, no problem, I can do that. So I took his information, I laid out a board for him. I later found out that what the purpose of this board was, it was going in a piece of test equipment. And this test equipment was testing these satellites that they were going to launch in the next year or two. And so I read up about what the purpose of the satellites were and what they were going to do. They were going to launch 12 satellites for something called the Global Positioning System. That's turned out pretty well, hasn't it? And how come I got to work on that? Because engineering is a team sport. If I had finished my work and decided, great, I'm done, I can play video games. Well, we didn't have video games, but just saying. But I didn't. I had opportunity, and I seized it, okay? It's not about individual achievement. It's about what you can do for your neighbor and your world. And it's turned out pretty well for me. Call it karma. Call it luck. call it divine guidance, whatever you want to call it. It works out pretty well. Acknowledge your biases and grow out of them. And don't sit there saying that nobody has them, because everybody has them. And you need to be alert to the biases of others and be prepared to respond to them. Yes, it's 2015. And yes, every single one of us has biases, some of which we know and some of which we don't. I've been asked if I was the bus driver because I was the only woman at a presentation at a conference. I've had my work claimed by a senior person that I was working with. I have been told by my boss that a woman with children should not work full-time. By the way, I don't work there anymore. Maybe some of you have experienced worse. And maybe some of you haven't ever had such a lovely thing happen to you. My dad didn't, but my dad was well known at DuPont for standing up for other people. That's what it's all about. We have to be each other's allies. If you're experiencing bias in one direction and somebody else is experiencing bias in the other direction, you need to be their ally. You see what I'm saying? The strength of a group is not diversity. That's the opposite of what you thought I would say, wasn't it? It's not diversity as individuals. It's diversity stitched together, where we are taking advantage of each other's strengths and compensating for each other's weaknesses. So yes, diversity is important. It's incredibly important. But without the teamwork element, it does not make all the difference. Cultivate curiosity, creativity, optimism, systems thinking, ethics, teamwork. Did you know that those are the engineering habits of mind as defined by the National Academy of Engineering? Optimism being one of my favorite. Because after all, how can you solve a problem unless you believe that you can solve it? Engineers believe that they can solve it. Any problem, doesn't matter what it is. And you've received the training that's going to let you do that. These habits are more than anything what the profession of engineering means. And of course, ECE is the best. We all know that, right? I mean, the others couldn't even turn themselves on without us, okay? The last piece of advice that I want to give you is this. And this is a quote from a book by Stephen R. Donaldson. I have always believed that problems should be solved by those that see them. That when a difficulty presents itself, the person who becomes aware of it should answer it instead of trying to pass it on to someone else. That's actually the very first thing I was taught at Bell Labs. At AT&T, if you got a random call out of nowhere, you owned that problem until it was solved. That was one of the things that made it such a terrific company to work for. I think this also applies on a large scale as much as a small scale. We do not all see the world the same. But each of us, if each of us works on what we see and what we understand, then together we can do enough to change the world. And that is, after all, what engineers are for. I want to close with another quote, and this one's from my dad. He's an IEEE fellow, so he applies. I can bring him into this. He sent this note to my daughter in text as she was graduating last week. I guess graduation is going on now. You did it. A monumental effort. You have been in training. Now education begins. You will have many opportunities. Do not let one slip by. The mark of a winner is how they evaluate and jump on opportunities. You have good judgment. Rely on it. I am very proud, and so are we all. Well done, and congratulations.
I'm Greg Byrd. I'm the associate head of the department, and it's my pleasure to introduce our student speaker for today. Kelsey Akiko Mills is from College Station, Texas. She's graduating summa cum laude, that means with highest honors for those of us who don't speak Latin, with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering and a Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. And she is the winner of the ECE Senior Award in Leadership. She's a member of Eta Kappa Nu, which is the ECE Honor Society. She has served as an engineering ambassador and university ambassador and as a tutor with the Undergraduate Tutorial Center. She's won 3 College of Engineering endowed scholarships, and she was selected as the student speaker for the Engineering Foundation's Endowment Dinner in 2014. Elsewhere in the university, she's a charter member of the Theta Theta chapter of Kappa Alpha Theta sorority and was their first chief administrative officer. She's been very active in student government, has held a variety of positions, including College of Engineering student senator and student senate president. And she won awards in her work at student government, new senator of the year, committee of the year. She was a finalist for the Leader of the Pack Award in 2013. That's a university award that recognizes outstanding contributions to NC State in the areas of leadership, scholarship, and service. Outside the university, she's been engineering director for the National Student Leadership Conference. That's a group that provides summer college experiences for outstanding high school students. And she'll spend one more summer starting the NSLC's engineering program at Yale University this summer. She's been a test engineer co-op at EMC, and she will join in August MetLife in Cary as an application developer. So please welcome Kelsey Akiko Mills.
All right, thank you, Dr. Byrd. First off, to my parents, surprise, I'm the speaker. I didn't really tell them before I did this. But today's a pretty exciting day, isn't it? Actually, I think graduation is probably one of the happiest days because all parties involved are, well, happy about it. You know, us as students, we're really excited that we're finally done with our degrees here in college. Our parents are excited that we won't be financial burdens on them anymore. And our professors are either extremely proud of us or they're really excited not to answer our questions anymore. One of the reasons I'm so happy today is because I feel like I'm leaving NC State with much more than I came here with. Not only do I have a really phenomenal education in computer engineering and electrical engineering, but I also feel like my life has been touched by so many truly amazing people while I've been here, including many of you who are sitting in front of me. But I also think that we need to include many of the people who are sitting on the stage next to me. And on that point, you know, when we think about our professors, a lot of times what we think about is the classes that they taught or the research that they're doing. But I really believe that they give us so much more than just our technical education. And so with the remaining time that I have, I really want to highlight 3 professors who particularly impacted me in ways that weren't technical while I've been in this department, even though they may not have realized it. So the first person I'd like to talk about, and this will be no surprise to many of my peers, is Dr. James Tuck, who taught us to always say exactly what we mean. Dr. Tuck always chooses his words to mean precisely what he means, and it is this skill that makes him such an effective teacher to me. I've never asked Dr. Tuck a question and not received a response that I completely understood, because he is so thorough and thoughtful in his answers to our questions. And while generally this is about, C programming or compiler optimizations, I think this is something that we can all apply in our daily lives as we go on. Miscommunication is so often the root of problems we face when working with other people. But by saying exactly what we mean, like Dr. Tuck does, we can improve our relationships with and understanding of the people in our lives. The next person I'd like to highlight is Dr. Jan Solihan, who taught us to pause every day to help others around us. For my peers who took his ECE 212 class, I'm sure you all remember how every single day he'd stop the class for 10 minutes in the middle of the lesson and teach us something about why we should go to grad school, or how to calculate interest on student loans in Microsoft Excel, or some other tidbit about how to improve our lives and live a happier life. And he chose to share this with us because, or in the hopes that it would help us grow and understand more about the choices that lay ahead of us. And while our digital logic curriculum was important to him, it was important to him that we all got more out of the time that we were with him than just the engineering of it all. And so this is something that I hope we all can emulate in our own lives. And by taking the time out of our day to help others, hopefully we can inspire them to do the same. So finally, I want to highlight Dr. Ginger Yu, who taught us to listen. Dr. Yu and I had a handful of conversations while I was in her ECE 302 class, but nothing that I thought would particularly make me memorable. Yet when I went to visit her semesters later to talk about potentially going to grad school, she discussed my time in student government and commented how she thought I'd be more interested in the policy side of things. And she hit the nail on the head with that one. But I was honestly just very shocked and surprised that she was able to remember all of that and know me so well, even though it had been a year and a half since I had been in her class. And so by listening, Dr. Yu, by listening and really paying attention to what people say and do, Dr. Yu made me feel very seen and appreciated, and she does that for so many other students in this department as well. Dr. Yu brightens my day every time I talk with her because she takes the time to notice the small things, which is something all of us can easily do just by putting in that little extra effort to really pay attention to those around us. You know, if I had the time to, I'd go on and on about the different lessons that our professors have taught us while we've been here that aren't technical in nature, because they really are a phenomenal group of people. But today I've highlighted 3 professors who particularly had a strong impact on me while I've been in this department. And you could ask any of the students sitting here in caps and gowns, and I'm sure they can tell you 3 more professors and the lessons that they taught them outside of the electrical and computer engineering curriculum. And so this is why I believe the ECE department has prepared us so well, not only for grad school or going into industry, but also for building happy relationships within our lives. So graduates, I hope that you take some time to reflect on the formal and informal lessons that our professors have taught us as you move on to the next big things in your life. You'll never know when what you do for others will have a huge impact on them like these 3 have had on me. So, as you go on, I hope that you'll do 3 things, or at least challenge yourself to do at least these 3 things. 1, always say exactly what you mean. 2, take time out of every day to help others. And 3, truly listen to the people around you. If you're an engineer who can do all that, you're going to be one heck of an engineer and one heck of a person. So I wish you all the happiness in your future endeavors, and congratulations on all you've accomplished at NC State. Thank you, and go Pack.
Okay, the next part of our program is where we give out degrees, which is what you're all very excited to get, I'm sure. We'll begin with the graduate degrees, and Dr. Ginger Yu is our acting director of graduate programs, and she'll be distributing the diplomas along with Dr. Stancil. So we start with the PhDs, the Doctor of Philosophy degrees. We have 16 of those that we're awarding this semester. And this is the highest academic degree. It requires a unique contribution to knowledge in your field and requires a dissertation. And so the students, the graduates, will be given their PhD, their academic hoods, by either their advisor or a member of their committee as part of their ceremony today. So will begin. Serena Kasem Badran Luca, Advisor Rhett Davis. Ghazal Falahi, Advisor Alex Huang. Arinesh Goswami, Advisor Bob True. Aditya Hosalili Mukund. Changjian Hu, Advisor Alex Huang. Avik Juneja, Advisor Alex Dean. Arun Kumar Kadavelugu, Advisor Subhashish Bhattacharya. Zhongjian Tong, Advisor Brian Floyd. And Ray Wong, Advisor Surgeon Lukic. Let's congratulate our PhD graduates. We'll now move to the Master of Science degrees, starting with Master of Science in Electrical Engineering. We have about 130 students receiving these degrees today. Jesse Thomas Dean. Gaurav Deshpande. Athreya Gopal. Narendra Honali. Rochana J. Kumar. Sushrut Karnik. Ian Matthew Kilgore. Nishla Kodandapani. Rahul Krishna Prasad. Shruti Sudhir Kulkarni. Abhijit Kuvar. Weifeng Li. Chen Ling. Adam Joseph Morgan. Tristan Lawrence Novak. Joseph Thomas Papu. Namrata Parikh. Akshata Pillai. Vivek Ramachandran. Jonathan Travis Rayner. Charles Wentworth Richards. Mohammed Sadegian. Ricker Lippett Snow. Nikhil Shriram. Charles Anthony Teague. Chunpeng Wei. Alexander Youngs. And we have Master of Science in Electric Power Systems Engineering. Vibhuti Awasti, sorry. Meghana Apaya. Pinky Sneha Are. Sundara Chaitanya Batu. I'm sorry, we've moved into computer engineering, my mistake. Deepak Sudha Bhatt. Shaksham Batla. Alok Chandar. Alan Chen. Sri Lakshmi Cherakuri. Anish Desai. Neville Dominic D'Souza. Chaitanya Dwivedi. William Gallagher. Anurag Garg. Caroline McClendon Grimes. Akshaya Hosali Mukund. Shibo Ho. Aditya Jadhav. Gayatri Jagan Mohan. Kinder Jin. Dipali Satish Karkanis. Chinmay Deepak Kasnis. Ivan Kopas. Abhinun Murthy. Thomas Michael Paradis. Sagar Mahendra Pasad. Marun Mai Ajit Padwardan. Sharath Palvan Pendiyala. Prashanth Rajan. Abhishek Ramgopal. Arvind Sai Kumar. Naya Sanjay Satpute. Guru Prasad Setuvale. Sharik Sheikh. Aditya Shirola. Karthik Reddy. Satish Shri Rambatla. Arjun Yedike. Yifang Zhao. And now Master of Science in Computer Networking. Navneet Arakoni. Lokesh Charora. Ryan Keith Clark. Ryan Lawrence Coble. Grishma Gopinath. Yushal G. Anshul Kandalwal. Shiva Kumar Kupar. Truptesh Malangi Nagesh. Aditya Matumali. Hiral Dilip Mehta. Janil Mehta. Anuj Rajesh Modi. Naman Gautam Mule. Disha Nagaraj. Mahima Naik. Pankil Budaresh Parikh. I don't know. Vandana Rajagopalan. Shashank Ram. Saili Kanchan Pandit. Bhagisha Singh. Ankur Sood. Ashwath Sriram. Sai Sumugi Suyanarayanan. Teresa Thampi. Rajav Vijayakrishnan. William Eugene Whitaker, Jr. Congratulations to all our Master of Science graduates. We have 134 students receiving bachelor's degrees today, and helping me is our Director of Undergraduate Advising, Ms. Cecilia Townsend. First, the Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, Khalid Akasbi. Tyler J. Barkey. Anushka Basavaraj. Stephen W. Beam. Shufaro Ramon Bonaparte. Benjamin Cornell Brown. Adam Christopher Byrd. Brian James Campbell. Lisbeth Chavez. Maeve Conavi Cusack. Alex Joseph Davis. Alexander William Dowsett Smith. Tengjin Du. Allison Riley Dubrulay. Heinrich J. Insland. Kalina Farnham. Christopher Carl Fesemir. Christopher Evan Frazee. Jeffrey Tyler Hahn. Nathan Gerald Hansen. John Lee Harwell Jr. Caitlin Hashkey. Evan Daniel Hyman. Brian Jeffress Hoblitzel. Charles Sherrell Hooker Jr. Daniel Lee Humphreys. Ukshay Iyer. Reed Jamil. Robert John Jameson. William Britt Johnson. Stephen Kerr. Khadija Khan. James Alexander Kiefer. Jerry Wayne Kaiser Jr. Anthony Richard Laws. Landon Kent Mackey. Brandon Wayne Massengill. Kyle Benjamin McCraw. Richard Austin Morris. Paul Michael Moser. Charbel Najem. Sami Shokat Nasrallah. Tevin Garrett Norris. Kyle Oakletree. Darrell A. Palmer. Matthew John Pavelko. Justin Ringett. Arash Roshan. Timothy Richard Scott. Ryan Daniel Shank. Matthew Gordon Skinner. William Tyler Stepp. Nicholas K. Tassios. Samuel Allen Turkal. Daniel J. Tyson. George Lee Whitmire. Roshane Alex Williams. Joseph David Young. Nan Yu. Andrew Gray Zajac. Now Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. Hussam Halsaidi. Nicholas John Almond. Jordan Beck. Daniel Robert Beckman. Jeremy Christian Brooks. Jordan Hezekiah Campbell. Cameron Stanley Card. Philip Cardella. Jamalia Lanice Cook. Nicholas Cornejo. Judson A. Crank. Zachary J. Dizel. Joseph Wallace Exum. John Robert Ferrick. Amin Fedenat. Josue M. Hironi. Michael Stephen Glander. Laura Lucia Gonzalez. Jason Michael Graffius. Alexander Michael Gregory. Morgan Elizabeth Hazley. Timothy Lee Holtzhauser. Austin Don Engel. Hayden M. Inman. Young Hoon Kim. Joshua Kunish. Michael James Ledford. Kyle Richard Martins. Aaron Lamar Martin. Anthony James Mason. Anthony Mejia. Kelsey Akiko Mills. Spencer Philip Mouget. Haider Uda Nima. Robert Christopher Nichols. Tyler Campbell Osborne. Kieran Spencer Perkins. David B. Plonsky. Eric Pope. Clayton Samuel Price. Luke Andrew Pyle. Brandon Michael Reeves. Leif Reinert. Chase Edward Rhodes. David Andrew Riedel. Shrey Saxena. Edward Seidel. Brian Lewis Shoemate. William Andrew Simon. George Wilson Sneed. Joseph Daniel Starling. Brennan T. Stewart. Andy M. Tong. Catherine Diane Walker. Kirk Andrew Weston. William Charles Workman. Congratulations to all of our Bachelor of Science graduates. So I want to acknowledge students that have graduated with honors. They're denoted by the different colored sashes that they're wearing today. First group, I'm just going to call the names out rather quickly. I'll ask the students to stand when I call your name. Remain standing. Please hold your applause till the end of the group. That way we can get through things rather quickly. So the first group is graduating cum laude, which means with honors. And these are students that have earned a grade point average of 3.25 to 3.49. And those names, I'm going to read both the electrical and computer engineering. So T. Boone Berlin, Stephen Beam, Elizabeth Chavez, Maeve Kuzak, George Evans, William George Evans, Christopher Carl Fesmere, Christopher Evan Frazee, Jerry Wayne Kaiser, Anthony Richard Laws, David Koulay, Landon Kent Mackey, Sammy Chalhat Nasrallah, Christina Nicole Perry, Samuel Allen Turkal, Joel Grafton Willis, Nicholas John Allman, Shengjian Ding, Alexander Michael Gregory, Thomas James Ruby, Anthony Mejia, Hyder Nima, Kieran Spencer Perkins, David B. Plonsky, Eric Pope, David Andrew Riedel, Ryan Lewis Shoemate, Brendan T. Stewart, and William Charles Workman. Congratulations, very good. Thank you. You can be seated. The next group is graduating magna cum laude, which is with high honors, and these students have earned a GPA of 3.5 to 3.74. They are Anushka Basavaraj, Brian Jeffries Hoblitzel, Akshay Iyer, William Britt Johnson, Stephen Wesley Kerr, James Alexander Kiefer, Austin Kyle Oakletree, Matthew John Pavelko, Justin Ringett, Joshua Edward Clark, Jamalia Lenise Cook, Michael Stephen Glander, Morgan Elizabeth Hazley, Young Hoon Kim, Robert Christopher Nichols, Leif Reinert, and William Andrew Simon. Well done, congratulations. And the last group is those that are graduating summa cum laude, which we know from my earlier statement, that means with highest honors. And these are Alexander William Dowsett Smith, Tingjin Du, Nathan Gerald Hansen, John Lee Harwell Jr., Jung Lin, Arash Roshan, Ryan Daniel Shank, William Tyler Stepp, Nicholas K. Tazios, Nathan D. Titus, Joseph David Young, Nan Yu, Richard Rudolph Boschemin, Jordan Wayne Beck, Cameron Stanley Card, Joseph Wallace Exum, Amin Fedinat, Timothy Lee Holtzhauser, Austin Don Engel, Michael James Ledford, Anthony James Mason, Kelsey Akiko Mills, Spencer Philip Bouget, Clayton Samuel Price, Kyle Anthony Santos, Shreya Saxena, Catherine Diane Walker, and Kirk Andrew Weston. Thank you. I also want to announce some departmental awards. The Outstanding Senior Awards, I believe this goes to students with a 4.0, is that right? Yeah, students that earned a 4.0 average. Again, please stand and we'll applaud as a group. Richard Rudolph Boschemin, Jung Lin, Arash Roshan, Shreya Saxena, Nathan Titus, Kirk Andrew Weston, and Joseph David Young. Thank you. The Faculty Senior Scholar Award goes to Shreya Saxena. Shreya. Thank you. The Leadership Award, Kelsey Akiko Mills. The Scholarly Achievement Award, Catherine Diane Walker. Humanities Award goes to William Tyler Stepp. And the Departmental Service and Citizenship Award goes to Shreya Saxena.
Thank you, Dr. Byrd. Graduates, it's taken years of hard work and accomplishment to reach this milestone. However, in addition to hard work, I suspect that the support of family and friends has also been crucial to your success. If you are a family member or friend of a graduate today, would you please stand? Let's give them a round of applause. And as you can imagine, a complex event like this never takes place without a lot of behind-the-scenes hard work. I'd like to thank staff and student volunteers, especially Whitney Edmister. Here's Whitney. Jennifer Rabb is here. Kristen Shelton. I'm sure Kristen is. And Kaylin Mang wasn't able to be here. But also, they're leaders of a team. And if you are a staff member or a student volunteer helping, would you either stand up or raise your hand if you're already standing up? Thank you very much. How many of you remember or have seen reruns of Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show? That may be sort of in the same vintage as the original Star Trek, I'm not sure. One of the memorable segments that he had was Karnak the Magnificent. I don't know if you remember Karnak. You may remember that he was a mystic who could give you the answer before he heard the question. He would put an envelope containing the question to his head, concentrate, and then give the answer. He would then open the envelope and read the question. I had an experience recently that reminded me of Karnak the Magnificent that I'll return to shortly. However, having been reminded of Karnak, I couldn't help wondering what some of the questions would have been if he had been an electrical or computer engineer. Perhaps it would have been something like this. The answer: red, white, and blue. Question: what is the color code of a 29 megohm resistor? Or maybe something like this. The answer is ECE. The question: what is 3,790 in hexadecimal? If you're not an engineer and you didn't get those jokes, you can have some interesting dinner, lunchtime conversation. Maybe it's just as well he wasn't an electrical engineer. But returning to my story, what reminded me of this recently was listening to only one side of a conversation with an astronaut, the theme today, on the International Space Station. An international organization called ARIS, for Amateur Radio on the International Space Station, sponsors a program where astronauts on the space station can talk with school kids over amateur radio. Depending on the school location and the orbit, the space station is within range for up to about 20 minutes or so. At the appointed time, the astronaut makes contact with an amateur radio station who has radio equipment that can track the space station, and the operator makes arrangements for the students to ask the astronaut questions. A Raleigh amateur radio operator recently made a short video of listening in on the astronauts' answers during one of these interviews. The orbit was such that both Raleigh and the amateur radio station in Maryland in contact with the ISS were simultaneously within range. We can hear the questions since those transmissions were made with directive antennas in Maryland pointed at the space station, but we could hear the answers from which you could guess the questions. Here is a sampling. Hi, Eric. I think it does help because when you train as a fighter pilot, you learn to control a complex machine in a complex environment. You learn how to follow procedures in a precise way, how to be attentive to detail, how to have situational awareness of what goes on around you, and to communicate effectively with the other members of your team. And those are all things that are important in the astronaut business as well. Over. The astronaut was Samantha Cristoforetti from the European Space Agency and the first Italian woman astronaut. By having this conversation with the school students, she was exposing them to ideas and possibilities that they might not have considered otherwise. Now, you may not be an astronaut yet, but you'll soon find yourselves in the position to be role models for young people who might not understand what opportunities could be open to them as engineers. Over the coming years, I encourage you to think about how you might give back and encourage younger students. This could take the form of visiting an elementary school or high school, helping with the summer camp, or helping NC State continue to provide a world-class education. Although for many of you, this graduation marks a departure from NC State, it's really the beginning of a lifelong relationship. It's very important for us to stay in touch because our success is intertwined from this point forward. The success of the ECE department will increase the value of your degree, and your success will enhance the stature of the department. This symbiotic relationship is important to us both. And with regard to keeping in touch, I can also attest to the fact that there are few things that professors enjoy more than hearing from former students. With that, I'm happy to conclude our ceremony. Let's hear it for the class of 2015. I'd like to ask that you all remain seated while the faculty recess, then for guests to remain seated while the graduates recess, and after this, I would like to invite everyone to join us for a reception in rooms 3, 4, and 6 to your left, to your right, my left, across from the exit doors. Thank you.